Hello, my lovely people. How are you? Jasper's sleeping on the bed. I'm actually sitting on the bed. Look, can you see my headboard and stuff? My bum cheeks are absolutely killing me. Off it yesterday's deadlifts and yesterday's WOD, and possibly off it today as well. So I thought I'd have a nice soft seat. Not that when I sit on my office chair that it's like, I'm not like sitting on a wooden box, but anyway, I thought I'd just sit in the bed. I never used to be able to do this, by the way. Like, I'm sitting looking at my pillows now because they're all like unmade. Yeah, I never used to be able to sit on the bed when I was at the height of the drama that was the perimenopause, because I would just fall asleep. So I got into a really bad habit of having my lunch and then I would come up the stairs and do some laptop work or read my book, but I actually wouldn't. I would literally fall asleep even sitting up. So I stopped. Oh, excuse me. God, 25 past 10. It's been a long morning. Anyway, I stopped sitting on the bed because I kept falling asleep during the day because I was that knackered when I was at the height of the perimenopause, which is obviously cool. If you need a nap, have a nap. But it didn't do my sleep at night any good, and then made me not sleep at night, and then I was just like a burst ball the next morning, so I stopped it. Anyway, I'm an adult these days, so I'm sitting on the bed. That was a quick digress there. Hope yous are cool. I'm just going to have a little chat with yous, right, about... This is quite deep, by the way, alright? I know I'm usually full of bants and stuff, but this is quite a deep subject. Are you limiting your own potential? Are you getting in the way of your own success? So chances are, if you're trying to make some changes, that you absolutely are getting in the way of your own success, and you absolutely are limiting your own potential. Quite a lot of the time we say things like, oh, I would like to do this. Like, for example, I would like to take up CrossFit. I would like to train 4 times a week instead of 3 times a week. I would like to actually lift some weights. I would like to sort my diet and nutrition out. But then it usually comes with a but, right? And the but is you limiting your own potential, even though you think that it's not. And you could come out with a reason that you think is completely justified, like, I would like to go to the gym and lift some weights, but I don't have the time. You actually do have the time. You just haven't thought about it enough, or you just haven't tried it, probably. Right? I would like to lift some weights, but I don't actually know what I'm doing. But you could learn. So again, you're limiting your own potential. So I've got quite a few. I've put this question on my client check-ins in the last couple of weeks, right? And they've answered them very, very honestly, which is amazing. I'm going to keep them anonymous, obviously, for privacy reasons. But I thought you might quite like to know what some other people are saying, so that when you think about this question, obviously, I like to give out homework. When you think about this question and it's relative to you and the situation that you're in just now, I would just like you to know that you're not alone, right? We've all got barriers. We all limit our own potential, and we all stand in the way of our own success. I do it as well. I'm very aware of it now, so I try very hard not to do it. But if you're not aware of it, then you'll actually think that you're quite justified when you tell me that you don't have time, or you can't do it because whatever reason, when most of the time it's your own barriers. And a lot of the time as well, a lot of barriers and reasons and excuses that people give me for not doing something, whether it's exercise or nutrition, it actually just comes down to fear. You're scared to commit, because if you don't commit, then you won't fail. And that's okay, right? Because that means that you're in control. Whereas you're actually just kidding yourself on that you're in control. So anyway, I'm going to read you some. I'm going to give you some top tips to maybe get over those things if this is, if they ring a bell with you, which I'm sure they do, because I don't think anybody's ever said anything to me that I haven't heard before. Well, maybe one client actually, and it was fucking hilarious. But she overcame the barrier. Anyway, it was to do with waders. I'm not going to say anything more, but it's like the best reason. It's up there with handing your school homework in, and the dog ate it. Honestly, it was brilliant. Anyway, right, so are you limiting your own potential, and are you getting in the way of your success? So the first one is, I need to be better at planning and buying meals in advance. So this is obviously for nutrition, right? This is a mixture of my nutrition clients and my ladies that lift and stuff as well, all right? So need to be better at planning and buying meals in advance, right? My top tip for that would be, yes, that's exactly what you need to do, right? But there is absolutely no way ever in the history of ever, can you wing fat loss. You absolutely cannot wing fat loss. Now, sometimes, but saying that, sometimes at the very beginning, right, if you've got a lot of body fat to lose, right, and you're in a high deficit, you can actually get away with like a couple of extra 100 calories, right, without tracking it or without putting an effort in, or just eating what you fancy, right? But the closer you get to goal and the less calories you have to eat, there is absolutely no danger that you can have fat loss and wing it. The reason for that is that inadvertently, right, there will always be something that comes up in your life that sends you off piste or sends you rogue or sends you off track, right? Now, it could be a good thing, like your pals phoning you up and saying, do you want to go for lunch? Yes, absolutely. You should absolutely go to all such social situations that you're asked to go to. All right. But when you're on very little calories, go by all means, make healthy choices where you can, be mindful, right? But that means the price that you pay for that is for the other 6.5 days of the week. You absolutely need to nail your calories. So the only way you can do that is to plan and make sure you have your planned food in the house and backup food, like emergency food. So like we've always got chicken in the freezer, I've always got rice in the pantry, I've always got Baby Bells for the protein, I've always got Freddos for the snack. So that's like, so if anything went a wee bit, if I decided to go a wee bit rogue or whatever, or go out for lunch and had, I don't know, a chicken salad or even a toasty or something like that, then I would have something at home that I know would get me my protein, would get me my carbs, etc., etc. All right, so you need to plan and buy meals in advance. You don't need to buy meals, but you need to buy the stuff for the meals. All right, you cannot wing fat loss. Right, are you limiting your own potential? Are you getting in the way of your own success? Yes, because I am not being consistent and haven't been the last few weeks. This week in particular, I have turned to food for comfort eating. Right, comfort eating, emotional eating, a lot of us are guilty of it. I am an absolute comfort eater and an absolute emotional eater. And don't get me wrong, I do have it under control now. I might not have it under control forever because you never know what's going to happen. But for a long time, it was an absolute nightmare. But anyway, it's not about that. It's about being consistent. So yes, you are limiting your own potential because they're not being consistent, right? So again, it goes back to planning and consistency, right? We're looking for consistency. Notice she didn't say because I'm not being perfect. We're not looking for perfection, right? Nobody can be perfect 7 days a week on any task or on any subject. So we're looking for consistency. So if you can eat your 5 portions of fruit and veg 5 days a week out of 7, right? That's consistent. If you can go and train 4 days out of 7, that's consistent. If you can drink 2 to 4 litres of water 6 days out of 7, that's consistent. If you can be all over your diet and your nutrition for 6.5 days a week, and on the Sunday night you have a takeaway pizza, that's consistent, right? We are looking for consistency. We are looking for you to do the habits and the tasks and the calorie deficit, right? 5, 6, 7 days a week. Not every week because life gets in the way and it all changes, right? But we're looking for consistency, not perfection. If you're not being consistent, again, it's like the planning, right? You're never going to hit your goals. If you don't consistently train and follow a plan, you're never going to get your strength goals. You're never going to pack the muscle on. If you don't consistently plan your food and eat to your calorie deficit, you're never going to get fat loss, ever. Excellent. All right, next one. I do have a couple, by the way, that says, one of them says, I hope not. I give everything my all. That's totally cool. Absolutely. But for those clients, I've asked them to remember this question in a couple of weeks' time or a couple of months' time, because, like I said, it's very unusual. You would be an anomaly if you managed to smash your goals every single day of the week forever until you hit your goal. There's always going to be something that comes up. I've got another one here. Are you limiting your own potential? Are you getting in the way of your own success? I'd say it's a firm no right now. Fully focused and prioritising my goals. There's my alarm again. I don't even know if you can hear that, but every time I'm on here, my alarm goes off. Anyway, right, fully focused and prioritising goals. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. This is quite, this is completely no. Anyway, right. Are you in the way of your own? Are you standing in the way of your own success? Absolutely not. I am all over this like a tramp on chips, to quote my husband. Not very PC. I think there's a lot more less PC things, or yeah, less PC things we could say than that. Anyway, I think that's a brilliant saying. I'm all over it like a tramp on chips. And this has been a long slog with some way to go, so discipline is the key to my success. So this lovely lady that gave me this comment, right, is actually going to come on this podcast in a couple of weeks' time. And we're going to speak about how she changed her mindset to help her lose 35 kilos. She's actually pushing 40 kilos. I think she's about 1.5 kilos away. Right, 40 kilos. Like, do you I don't actually know if I've got the words to describe that. It's actually fucking amazing. And while it is a process that you need to follow, like you need to plan your food, you need to do your food shopping, you need to eat said calories, you need to stick to your deficit, you need to do your protein, you need to drink your water, you need to make sure your sleep's sorted, you need to manage your stress, you need to do your training, right? There is so much. It's not just calories in and calories out. But to be able to have the brain space to follow all those steps consistently, you have to change your mindset. It has to be to a can-do mindset, not a drama mindset. So this lovely lady is going to come on and we're going to do a podcast together, and she's going to share all her secrets in a couple of weeks' time. I'm very, very excited. All right, might actually be next week. I can't remember. Sometime. Let's just say June. She's coming on in June. I'll let you know when, all right? Are you getting in the way of your own success? Not if I keep up the good habits. I love this. I love this. So a lot of the time, right, and again, I've said this before on here and I'll say it again. If anybody, any coach tells you that for fat loss, all you need to do is eat less and move more, punch them in the fucking throat, poke them in the eyes, all right? Hit them in the face with a chair twice, all right? It's completely inappropriate. In theory, that is all you need to do. But coaches are there to help you do that by introducing habits into your lifestyle, all right? We are trying to fit your healthy lifestyle in around your current lifestyle. And yes, we'll need to make changes, but anybody that says just eat less and move more, right, punch him in the face with a chair. Right. Are you getting in the way of your own success? Maybe a little, but feel like my body is battling against me at the moment. Obviously, I know this client, right? I know they're perimenopausal, as most women are that I work with. We're all midlife women, all right? We've all got shit going on. We've all got busyness going on. But chuck the perimeno or the meno into the equation as well, and there's a whole other set of symptoms that we need to battle. So our mind and our brain is like, oh yeah, I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to train 4 times this week. And then you wake up for the 4th morning on like the 4th night of the shittiest sleep ever, right? Your ability to deal with shit, your ability to motivate yourself, it just goes out the window, and it's really, really difficult. However, that leads me on to one of my other clients yesterday, right? Was meant to get up yesterday morning and go for a run, and couldn't, probably because the weather was so shit, to be fair, but she was really knackered. She'd had a really good weekend. She'd been all over it at the weekend, had loads of sleep and stuff, right? And that, for a wee while, sometimes makes you more tired. So she didn't go, but she totally went out at lunchtime, right? That, to me, is amazing, right? That's not the end of the world. So what could have happened was she could have woke up in the morning, too tired, didn't go, thought about it all day, right? And then just said, ah, well, fuck it. I've absolutely fucked it now, so I might just as well turn into a dick for the rest of the week, and I'll restart next Monday, right? This is not cool. This is the problem. So what she did was she just got up, went about her morning, and then thought, I'll just go at lunchtime. Do you know, it was a wee bit warmer, the weather was a wee bit better. Where she lives, it wasn't torrential rain like it is in Falkirk. It was windy. To be fair, we did have a whole conversation about hating the wind, and she went anyway. So it's not. This is the being consistent thing. You can't go for a run in the morning. That's fine, and you need an extra half an hour in your bed. That's totally cool, right? But you've got another like 20, however many hours of the day, and she did it. Fucking amazing. I love it, honestly. Anyway, perimenopause, throw that into mix, right? And you're battling everything. You're battling sore joints, potentially. You're battling hot flashes. You're battling no sleep or very little sleep. You're battling major fatigue. And on top of all that, there's all the other stuff, like maybe you've got really itchy eyes and itchy ears, and you just want to claw your skin off, and you just feel like bleh. Then that, do you know, we're trying to battle that as well. So do what you can. Absolutely do what you can. If it doesn't suit you because you're too knackered in the morning, do something else in the afternoon. If it doesn't suit you in the afternoon, do it in the evening. Just get it done. And if you need to scale it back, if you had great plans to jump out your bed and go for a 9 mile run on a Monday morning and you only managed 4 miles on a Monday afternoon, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yes. Yes. I love all my clients, honestly. Another one, are you limiting your own potential? Most probably. I can be tough on myself. I think I'm a lot more capable than I let on. Again, do you know, be kind to yourself. It is a fine balance. There's like that massive saying out there that, you know, that you need to listen to your body, right? Which to a certain extent is absolutely true. But it's not your body that's going to stop you from doing all the stuff that you need to do. It's your brain. Your brain's clever. So your brain's like, oh, yes, I would absolutely like to lose 2 stone, but also I really like sugar. Maybe I should plan my food. Well, if I plan my food and I don't stick to my food, I failed. So what if I just don't plan my food? Well, then I haven't failed. You're just going to eat the pizza and then justify it to yourself, all right, when it's not pizza time. There's nothing wrong with eating pizza, but make sure it's for the right reasons that you're eating the pizza. Yeah, your brain is super duper clever. Absolutely clever. So I'm going to get up and train at 6:15 in the morning. And you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm not getting out of my bed. It's freezing. It's raining. I can't be arsed. So then your brain's like, oh, well, we might as well just have a lazy morning. In fact, you're really tired. Why don't you just sit on the sofa? I know, let's pick up your phone. Let's just have a wee scrolling session for an hour and send you into a deep dark depression. And while we're on the sofa, after we've had breakfast, oh, what about a little mid-morning snack? Oh, go and get the chocolate out the fridge. Let's have a cup of tea. Do you know, and then we'll, oh, well, you know, we fucked it this morning. We might as well just have the rest of the day off. I know what we'll do. Yeah, we'll totally go and get a toastie or something for lunch and we'll have some crisps. And then maybe in the afternoon, oh, let's just watch a film. Let's just do Netflix and chill. And we could just sit there and eat crisps and dip. Oh, and then do you know what? We deserve a fucking takeaway. Right? That's your brain. That's your brain filling your head full of shite. And this is what you need to try and battle against, all right? Also, are you limiting your own potential? I have been very guilty of shying away from the unknown and doubting my ability. That's quite common. Self-doubt, fear, anxiety, that's absolutely common. That's very common, right? And that's a thing about, so there's nothing wrong with having the fear of the unknown, right? Or having the fear of a new situation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely 100% normal. 100% normal. Definitely, right? Absolutely. If you didn't have a fear of the unknown, right, you would actually fucking die because you would just go and walk into I don't know, the lion's den that's at the bottom of the road in Bainsford, right? You would just go and walk in there and yeah, right? So having a fear of the unknown, that goes back to caveman days, by the way. It's like why your adrenaline kicks in when the lion chases you down the road. Which obviously I hope is not going to happen in the middle of Bainsford and Falkirk, but you never know. Anyway, it's perfectly acceptable to have a fear of the unknown, 100%, right? This is where fight or flight kicks in, this is where your adrenaline kicks in, but this is where the excitement kicks in as well, and this is about changing your mindset because you can't change the situation, so you have to change your mindset, right? So fear of the unknown is absolutely normal, but that shouldn't stop you from doing stuff. All right. The only way you will grow, the only way you will expand your brain, the only way you will have an exciting life is to do new things. And I'm not speaking about like you don't need to go and chuck yourself out a plane, right? I would never do that because you want to experience adrenaline, but just do new stuff. Absolutely, all the time. It could be something like, do you know, go on a date night and go to a new restaurant. Go fucking wild and go to a new supermarket. It's just about experiences, right? Go and do something that you would never do. Like go and do. I've been for a tour of Lord's. Is it Lord's cricket pitch? Right? Do I like cricket? No, I absolutely do not. Don't know anything about cricket, right? But it's that putting yourself in a situation that you're meeting new people and you're soaking up like all the new information. It was fascinating. I kid you not, it was one of the most fascinating days of my life ever. I think I was only about, must have been about 20. Anyway, it was brilliant. So you should do new things. So having a fear of the unknown is totally cool. It's when it stops you from doing that task or that experience or that getting yourself into that situation that then you're potentially limiting your potential. There's a good saying for you. All right. Um. Again, are you getting in the way of your own success? Saturday nights usually stop my success on Sundays. So this is the whole classic rinse and repeat. So you get through your Monday to Friday, right? You've been all over it. You've been good. Doing that in inverted commas if you can't see me, by the way, right? You've been good. You've stuck to your calorie deficit. You've done all your habits. You've done your water. Your sleep's on point. You've trained. You're feeling pretty fucking awesome, right? And then you get to Friday night and you're like, ooh, wine. Have a glass of wine on the Friday night. Absolutely. Have a glass of wine on the Saturday night. Absolutely. Do you really need two bottles? I mean, do you? Do you actually really need two bottles if you've got goals, if you've got fat loss goals or training goals? So I don't know about you, but I like a wee wine every now and again. Usually comes with crisps, to be fair. Or if I'm out, it might come with a kebab on the way down the road. Which again, if that's your thing, that's too. Kebabs are so my thing, by the way. I'm not being judgy, but at some point you're going to have to decide what's worth more. Do you want the kebab more, or do you want your goals more? Because on the Sunday morning, if you're hungover, right, or if you're even just a little bit fuzzy, are you actually going to get out your bed and go and do your training? Are you going to wake up in the morning and eat your healthy planned breakfast of, I don't know, Greek yogurt and fruit and fibre and honey and stuff like that, or your omelette? Or, I mean, are you, if I woke up with a hangover, there is no danger I'd be sitting eating a bowl of Greek yogurt. So at some point, yeah, I've just said it previously, say yes to all the social situations, but alcohol is a major destroyer of many a goal. Definitely, definitely. And whether it's that night that you're drinking the alcohol or the morning after. So at some point, you need to cross over into the having alcohol at the weekend is like a treat, like once every 2 months, once every month, once every 2 months, right? As opposed to having an alcohol free weekend is once every 2 months. So at some point, there needs to be a sacrifice. Yeah? Yeah. And then another one. I wouldn't say I was limiting, I would say slowing down my progress when I decide to drink too much alcohol. And again, let me make this clear, all right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with deciding or choosing to delay your goals for a week, a weekend, 2 weeks, so you can go out with friends or family, drink some alcohol, eat some decent food, and have some fun. All right. Life is predominantly about spending it with your loved ones and having amazing experiences. And yes, of course, that absolutely includes decent food, like pub food, restaurant food, takeaway food, and it includes alcohol as well. But if you have fat loss goals, if you have training goals, if you have strength goals, the times that you decide to do that need to get less and less and less. All right, so the closer you get to goal, the harder it is to lose your little bit of fat that you've got. And if you need to sacrifice a couple of weekends, you need to sacrifice a couple of weekends, or you need to sacrifice an element of those weekends. So if I was going out for dinner, right, I came in at my lowest scale weight today, by the way, 151.6. Right, I'm trying to get to 149, so I literally have 2.6 pounds. All right, my fat loss has slowed right down. My calories are very, very low. If I was going out at the weekend, I would absolutely still go, by the way. I would choose probably to eat the food in the restaurant and not drink the alcohol. Because eating the food in the restaurant is one meal, right? And yes, it'll push me over my calories for the day, but it won't destroy my willpower to sort my shit out the day after. If I go out and choose not to eat, or just to drink alcohol, or to eat the food and drink the alcohol, there is no danger I would be back on my goals on Sunday. That would take me to Monday or Tuesday. So again, it's okay. It's absolutely okay to choose to delay your goals, but you need to understand that it's your choice, and you need to understand that there'll be a sacrifice that you need to make for that, if you think about it as payment. Yeah, so drink the alcohol, but your payment is you're going to lose another day for your goals. Right, another one. I'm guilty of seeing... Oh, I actually love this. Actually, because this is quite common as well. I'm guilty of seeing a change in myself, weight and appearance, and thinking I've reached my target. Yes, absolutely, right? So sometimes this is a bit of self-sabotage as well, right? There's a whole massive thing about... It's all psychological about self-sabotage, right? But just say in your head you've got 3 stone to lose, right? And you've just managed to come under your first half stone bracket, all right? So just say, I don't know, you weigh 14 stone, right? And you've just managed to get yourself into the 13 and a half stone, right? So what do? Oh, well, fuck me, you give yourself a reward. Of course you do. And what would that reward be? Chances are it'll be food, because let's face it, we didn't get 3 stone overweight by not eating the food that we love and that we like, all right? So you're going to celebrate your half a stone with a takeaway. What's going to happen, right? So Domino's pizza, right? Domino's, I call that half a stone pizza because I could literally eat a Domino's. Admittedly, there would probably be 2 sides with it, because who can have a pizza without sides? I would literally eat a pizza and sides, and I would get on the scales the next morning, and the scales would jump up half a stone. It's not body fat; it's just dehydration and extra carbs. But half a stone Domino's, all right. So I get that. I would totally reward myself with that. Yeah, I'm not sure if this person did. She didn't do that actually, because she's one of my clients. I know she didn't, but she's speaking about in the past. So I would do that. I would totally reward myself with food. Right? I don't do that anymore. Well, maybe I do sometimes. Anyway, right, so sometimes you're like, oh my God, I've lost half a stone. I've nailed it. I've absolutely nailed it. So you have a takeaway, right? And then because you've nailed that first goal of the half a stone, we can get a bit arrogant, right? And we can think, well, fucking that was a doddle. So I'm going to go for my next half stone. But do you know what? I don't need to plan my food because I know what I'm doing. Right, and then that's when the bad habits start to revert back, right? So from your brain point of view, if you are doing a goal, right, and if you're trying to introduce new habits into your life, like getting your daily steps and drinking your water, eating your protein, sorting out your pre-bed routine, right, putting your phone away, not lifting up your phone first thing in the morning, right? The minute that you feel a bit too busy or a bit too tired because you haven't slept properly, or a bit too overwhelmed because you're trying to do all of these things at once, all right, your brain will revert back to the bad habits, even though you know that those bad habits got you into this situation in the first place. And even though you know the good habits that you've been doing for the last 4 to 6 weeks make you feel better, your brain is lazy and it's very, very clever, right? And it will tempt you and lead you back to those bad habits. That's just something to be aware of. That's an actual thing. I'm sure there's probably some kind of psychological name for it, which I don't know because I'm not a psychologist. But the way the brain works, it's very, 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 I find it very fascinating. So, anyway, this lovely lady followed this up with, I need to remind myself that this is the first change in a series of many. 100%, all right? So whatever your little goal is, so if you have 3 stone to lose and you're going for the half stone, right, have a reward at the half stone mark. Absolutely. It doesn't necessarily need to be food. It doesn't necessarily need to be a whole pizza and a couple of sides, right? I don't order sides with pizzas anymore. I used to all the time. I don't do it anymore. I just have the pizza, right? Now that's potentially a saving of about 800 calories if you think the pizza as well, all right? So I'm still having a super tasty treat, right? But I've just cut my treat back down. If your reward is wine, have a glass of wine. Go and buy a little fucking bottle, the 25 cl bottles, and have that, right? And enjoy it and savour it and take your time with it, right? If your reward is, or change your reward. So try not to make your reward about food. Go and get a manicure, or go and get a massage, or go and do something that you've always wanted to do, like, I don't know, book yourself into the climbing wall, or, do you know, go and do something as a reward. Just try and get away from the food side of rewards, or cut back on the food side of rewards. I'm not sure I'll ever stop rewarding myself with food, to be fair, because I love food, but it does make you appreciate it more. Like, for example, I would have the pizza now and I wouldn't have the sides. I would have, I'm trying to think what else I would have. I love a dirty kebab. I would have a kebab, but I would have a small kebab, and I wouldn't have the kebab and the pakora and the chips with the curry sauce to dip into it. I sound like a right. Anyway, I am a food lover. That's it. And also, she follows it up finally with old habits die hard, but I'm working on it, and this is amazing. This is it. It is an absolute journey. It is a total journey, right? And it will take time, and it's about a day at a time. Sometimes it's actually about a meal at a time. Sometimes it's about, oh my fucking God, I just need to get through the next half hour without destroying all the chocolate in the house. Right? So for fat loss goals, this is good, all right? But anyway, right, so that was like 10 or 11 or 12. So I hope you found that helpful. I do want you to think about homework. Pissing myself, by the way. Are you limiting your own potential? And what I said at the very beginning, right? So I hear all the time, like all the time, so many reasons why we can't do it, right? So many reasons. There are things like, I can't afford it. I'm speaking about specifically signing up with a coach, right? I can't afford it. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. My work's too stressful. All of those things, right, along with another 50 million reasons, come down to one thing. That one thing is that you are scared. You are scared to commit to making changes because you might fail. But the only time you fail is when you give up. If you keep trying every single morning or every single whatever, you haven't failed. You are absolutely trying to incorporate some good habits into your life because you want to be on this earth for as long as possible, living your life with the people that you love. That is what life is all about. Ta-ta!